Hello, folks. How are you today? My name is Lynn, and I'm here to talk to you about Liquid Gold One Therapy Oil at liquidgold1therapyoil.com. For those of you that are definitely going to feel the curiosity to go and check out after this video. For those of you that have pain, aches and pains, I'm going to speak today about an all-natural pain relief spray that is without question the best pain relief product on the market. It acts fast. It works on literally just about everybody we have tried it on. And further to that, from an economical point of view, it is about as economical a product as you can get. Granted, it is just a small bottle comparatively, but the thing is, you only need a few drops of it. And the thing about it is, it lasts a long time. And because it's all natural, it has a symbiotic aspect with the body, which means that you don't build up a resistance to it. There's so many pain relief sprays and salves and lotions and the like on the market that you start using it and several days later it doesn't seem to be effective anymore because your body's built up a resistance and a reaction to the chemical aspects. So, as I say, Liquid Gold One Therapy Oil is a very good product. Now, I have been a product salesman and a product demonstrator for many years. During the testing of this product, of the several hundred that I offered a free demonstration to, within a couple of minutes, people's pain, I would just say, quantify your pain as a 10 out of 10, no matter what it is. We'll call it a 10 out of 10. We put the pain relief spray on, and within a couple of minutes, you would ask, is there a reduction in the pain? Is it down to an 8 or a 7 or a 6? It has on occasion, I did see where the pain literally just went to nothing and hardly there or not there at all. I've seen people go from absolutely excruciating, preoccupying pain from a pinched nerve in the shoulder down to a 2 or 3 within 3 to 4 minutes. So, and granted, there are those pains that, because they're deep pains and long-term pains, it takes it down from a 10 to an 8, or a 7. But the thing is, when it is that notable a pain and it drops at least that much, the simplicity of it is, of the over 98% of the people that I demonstrated the product on, that it worked. Over 95% of the people that were there that took the demonstration actually bought the product. And because, let's face it, pain is not a fun thing, especially chronic pain. Now, I'm going to talk today as well, how does this work? We're going to discuss pain. The root cause of pain is inflammation in the tissues. The common denominator in tissues for most pain and inflammation and maladies in the body has to do with the fact that the cellular health is not being maintained in a healthy regard because it doesn't have the base nutrients and base elements in the foods that we eat to keep the body healthy enough to keep the cells in good repair. That's the simplicity of it. That is, in fact, what is going on with the body in most cases. Granted, there is the blow or the bruise or the shock or the cut that causes pain, but as far as the process of acquiring pain, well, that's what it is. So I encourage you to go and have a look at your nutritional intake, consult a dietitian or a nutritionalist, and see what their opinion is, because there are notable things out there that can, in fact, heal the body, or allow the body to have the basic elements that it can repair itself and in fact heal itself. So that being said, we're going to go on to how it works. Now, when there is inflammation, it's because the tissue is swollen and the circulation is constricted and restricted, which means if fresh blood isn't getting in there, it gets stagnant, gets septic, gets toxic, antagonizes, turns into infection. So what we have in this pain spray are several dilators. We have eucalyptus and peppermint and a couple of others that basically dilate and relax the blood vessels and the carrying elements of that tissue, and allows the old blood to basically flush out and bring fresh blood in. It has a flushing aspect to it. There are also several other products in this bottle that has over 43 essential oils and ingredients. And of these others, there are several in there that are in fact antioxidants. An antioxidant, of course, gets rid of toxicity and acidity in the body. Further to that, there are several fine oils in it that carries these products into the body and actually to the damaged tissue. So, that being the case, when you're flushing, and the other thing is, depending on the malady and the pain, this does have the capability of providing some elements of building blocks to the body for it to repair and heal itself. For example, we have had accounts of people over time with back pain, chronic pain for a long time, but they put it on, and yes, there was a little bit of relief, but the thing was, it wasn't going to go away and stay away. They had to keep using it, but they noticed over a period of several days to several weeks in some cases, the pain did in fact alleviate itself to a significant regard, and the need for the product became less or none. So, with those things going for you, I think perhaps you can agree that if you have pain in your body, you might consider that this would be a worthwhile product to investigate. Now, when you're using the product, this one is not opened. We're not going to get into the clumsy aspect, but let's just pretend I'm pushing, and it's pushing out a couple of pumps of a couple of small jets of the oil. It has a pleasant smell to it. It has a very fresh, pleasant smell to it. And let's say, for example, the different uses. But for example, we'll start from the top on down. We'll go with something like a headache, migraines. Again, it relaxes blood flow, tension, stress, inflammation. Put it at the base of the scalp, behind the ears and that, on the temples, across the forehead. And it does help, and notably help with migraines. That has been accounted. Let's say, for example, you've got carpal tunnel or a sprained wrist. Carpal tunnel. Well, if it's there, you feel the pain there. You don't just put it on the top where the pain is. You do it all around the region. Same thing with the sore shoulder. If you've got a pain right on the top of it, put it there, but all the way around and under in the affected region. Again, here's an example of a time delay. I demonstrated the product for an older gentleman who had extremely sore hips, and he said he always woke up in the morning with sore hips, and he had a hard time getting to sleep at night because of sore hips. So I gave him a demonstration. He went to the washroom, he put it on, and he came back, and within 5, 10, 15 minutes, he determined, he says, "No, I'm sorry, but I'm not receiving any relief from this. I guess I'm one of the ones." He says, but thing was, I went home that night. The very first thing the next morning, the fellow phoned back and said, "Excuse me, Lynn," he says, "I want to buy several bottles of that because He said by the time the night had, this was several hours, he says by the time we went home from the seniors dance, I noticed that my hips weren't as sore. And he said, I didn't have that much trouble going to sleep at night. And he says when I woke up in the morning, he said my hips weren't as sore again. He said, I don't recall if he said that had no pain at all, but there was a notable enough difference, but that took several hours. So it reacts differently, but the majority of people, yes, in the product demonstrations, it happens within the first 10 minutes or so, maximum. And by the time 10 minutes is up, usually in most cases, people have decided to purchase the product. Another way that you can use this product as a detox is to run, well, for example, if you work for a living, or if you're active, or you go to the health club and that, and you come home and your muscles are burning and that, and or just a long day at work and you're achy and tired. Well, it's the lactic acid buildup in your muscles, and it's being somewhat latent. So what you do is you run a hot bath, take the product here, Liquid Gold 1 Therapy Oil, put a few pumps of it into the bath water, and just sit there and soak. And actually let the water go and cool down, but notice the difference in the change, the color of the water, because it is actually drawing the poisons out. As the good stuff goes in, the bad stuff comes out, and the toxicity, body pH, all these things that come into play. Speak to a nutritionist; they'll fill you in. Another way you can do it, if you don't want to draw a bath every night, it works over a period of time as well, is to take a larger basin of water, fill it with hot water, and put a few jets of it, pumps of it into the water, soak your feet in it. Again, notice the change in the color of the water. A similar effect to those patches that you find advertised now, where you put a patch on the bottom of your feet, and in the morning take them off after you've slept, and again they are drawing darkened poisons out. Similar regard. Ours tends to be more effective with the all bath way and more economical. But that's how you use the product. And when I was a tradesman in my 50s and that, by the end of the day, my forearms, from pounding nails and working with my forearms, were very sore and achy. And they would usually be mildly achy for the rest of the evening. But I noticed when I got the pain spray, if I basically did it and basically rubbed my arms down all the way around, from the elbows down to the hands, worked it in, within 4 or 5 minutes, they were as good as new. And so, folks, that's why I would encourage you to go to the website, or if you're on the website here, go to the product list and look at the size that suits you, or the bargain that suits you, as far as one or several or multiple purchases. And at that point, be prepared to be very pleased at the relief that it will give you. Another thing that you can do that I have heard is that this doesn't assist as far as states of neuropathy. I have personally had success with that, as far as numbness in the palms of the hands, soles of my feet, from nerve plaque and like that. It loosens things up, and well, further to that, maybe I should be a little bit more interested in putting it on my scalp. But there have been some reports of one woman that started using it on her scalp, and she is realizing some hair recovery. Curiously enough, I checked out on all natural hair recovery sprays and lotions, and an awful lot of the elements that are in their product tend to be in this one too. So pay your money, take your chances, but chances are, if it's for aches and pains, you'll be very delighted and pleased with the results. And with that, I thank you very much for your time, and I do respect you for the time that you have spent with me. Have a good day.